Hi Lizzie, thank you for coming on the channel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No worries, thank you. Last night you announced that you're supporting Seagirls this month. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. Really looking forward to that one. Um, I've been a fan of Seagirls for like years now, so yeah, it'll be kind of surreal to be supporting them. I've seen them play a few times before as well at different festivals and things. So yeah, it'll be great. Yeah.
Good, good. You're also supporting lottery winners this month, aren't you? Is that the day
Yeah,
after?
Yeah, it's next week. It's gonna be dead busy. So we've got Seagull on the Thursday, and then we're supporting the lottery winners on the Friday for part of their UK tour. We're playing in Birmingham at XOYO, and both of the gigs are sold out. So yeah, it's gonna be a massive week for sure. I won't know what to do with myself the next week. I'll be like, where's 700 people like screaming? What's going what's going on? So yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
You supported The View last week. Was that good?
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really, really good. The place filled up really well as well for the supports. And yeah, just like great vibe. Everyone by the end of it was, having a really good time. There's a lot of people that had had a few drinks and yeah, were definitely enjoying themselves. So it's what it's all about, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great night. Great night, yeah, for sure. And that was it. Yeah, Liverpool at the O2 Academy 2. We were in for that one. And that one was basically sold out as well. I think it did sell out because when we were on the like doing the sound check and stuff, we're asking about the numbers and they're like, oh, it's like 10 off being sold out. So probably that I think that sold out as well. Just from people coming in on the door. So yeah, it's been very busy. It's been a good month.
Yeah, it all sounds good, yeah.
Mm.
So you were born in Stoke. At what age did you move to America?
I moved to America when I was about 14, and then moved back here when I was 17.
What was life like for you then in America?
Um, like completely different. Um, I think moving out there, I I thought that it was going to be almost a bit more similar in a way because I like like I've seen like all the films and stuff that are set in the States and that, and I kind of thought, yeah, like that's a film, that's it's a movie, but a lot of the things that are in the films are very much similar to what it's actually like, which was quite surprising, like the good and the bad, um, which was quite surprising. I was like, oh, like this isn't like an over the top version. Like this is actually what it's like. Everything is like supersized and yeah, it was a bit mad. Like I really enjoyed some parts of it for sure. Like I enjoyed like going all like the sports events and seeing all of that side of it. But um for me, I feel more at home like in the UK, I think.
Yeah, yeah. At what age did you get into music?
I've always been into music really from like when like pretty much like as soon as I could sing, I was singing and like I'd put on like whole shows for like my toys and stuff and like stand on my bed like it was a stage. Um So I've always been drawn to it. But I was really shy when I was little. Like I used to put these shows on for my toys, but I never put shows on for people. Like no one was allowed to actually hear me. Only like teddy bears. Um, and then just kind of growing up, my parents kind of said like, look, you should actually, you should go and let people hear you. And they kind of um pushed me into it in a way. Because I used to just play guitar in my bedroom and in the kitchen and whatever. And one day when I was about, I think I was about 13 or 12 or 13, my mum was like, right, I've signed you up to go play this open mic tonight at this pub, and I'm going to take you, and you go in and you're going to do it. And if you don't, she was like, if you don't do it, you're not allowed to play guitar anymore in the house. So I was like, okay, she's quite serious about this, and I feel like I've got to do it. So I did it, and it all went really badly, to be fair. Like, I messed up, but I still did it, and I was proud of myself for doing it. And since I did that, I kind of got like the bug for it, and I kind of surprised myself of, oh, actually, like I can go and play and like sing in front of people, and then I just started writing my own stuff as well, and it just kind of like naturally snowballed like that. So I started that in the UK, just at like pubs and that, and then when we moved over to America, I started finding different places that did open mics, and I started playing there. And it just kind of like snowballed. So people started saying, "Oh, like you need to come to this bar because this English girl plays, and like you've got to come see her," kind of thing. Um, and it just kind of like grew organically, really. So people started coming to watch me play at like these bars and cafes and whatever. And then people started saying like, "Can we book you for events and stuff?" So then I was like, "Oh, okay, like I can make some money from this. I'll start doing it, you know." So then I just started playing in different bars and started writing my own stuff, and yeah, it just kind of naturally progressed that way. And I just thought it was cool that I could do my hobby that I love to do and like get paid a bit for it, because I was only like 16 or so then. So I was like, I don't have to go, I don't know, like do whatever jobs my mates were doing at the time. I was like, I can just go and play a few venues or whatever each week, and I'll get paid a bit. So I was like, we'll just stick with this. I enjoy it. Um yeah, and then I carried on doing that, and when I moved back to Manchester, and I set up my own band, and then I think that's when it became like a bit more of like an artistic, like, yeah, I'm gonna have a band, I'm gonna do it kind of thing, because before it was more so just me kind of like building like confidence and just doing it for fun. I think when I moved to Manchester, I kind of thought, actually, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do it properly. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm up to, really.
Is there a big difference between the crowds in America and in England, or are they the same?
Oh no, there's a big difference because like um the massive difference in like music taste, really, because you know uh, like the music scene in London and Manchester and Liverpool is massively different to the States, because like the States is so much bigger, um and where we were in America was like quite southern, so like they liked like all of their kind of country music and stuff. So there's a massive difference in, audience taste and whatever. So if if you were like playing I think like here there's more kind of scope to be able to just play what you want to play, and people to be kind of like, yeah, I like it, I vibe with it. There's much more of like a range of people here, much more diverse of an audience to play in front of than over there. It kind of depends state by state. Like I played in New York, and that again, that's a diverse audience. But like playing in like Nashville, that's not as a diverse audience, because everyone just wants to be there for country music. So it's kind of like supply and demand in a way. Where you want to play, you've got to suit the audience.
Yeah, do you feel that's why bands find it hard to like crack America?
Um, I don't know. Like, I think when I was over there, I was really young still, and I was just kind of trying, like, starting out really.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, and I think it depends on whereabouts as well. It's like when I look at who listens to my music now, there's quite a few people in America that listen to it, but it's more so like the kind of like the more like modern places, so like New York and LA. seem to be like there. That's where they listen to my music. Whereas where I was based when we were in America was like we were based in the South. So if it wasn't if it wasn't country music, like people didn't really want to listen because they liked what they liked there, and they were a bit more like just like a bit more traditional in the music taste. So like I'd like to go back out there and play, but I'd like to go to like the cities and go back and play in New York and do that. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah. Um, who were you? Which bands or artists inspired you when you were growing up?
Um, I was really inspired by Florence and the Machine, and I still am. I really like how she is just authentic in her sound and how she looks, her image, how she dresses. I think it's really kind of honest and true to herself. It's not evident that it's like, oh, she's dressing like all the other female women in pop and alternative and it's honest what she is, and I think that's what I would like to be in myself, like showing up, dressing how I want to dress, and not feeling like you have to kind of fit a mold by being like a woman in music. So I found that really inspiring, and like Amy Winehouse for the same reasons. I felt like there's real like passion and authenticity in her art, and what she had to say as well. I liked that she wasn't a kind of afraid to be a bit outspoken or feel that she had to kind of accommodate anyone. She would just be herself and kind of just be like brutally honest. I really liked that. So I think I kind of grew up looking up to a lot of women in music without kind of realizing it. And then also like my family was like massively into like all the big kind of 90s bands. So I've always been around that culture, and that's really felt like home to me. So I take a lot of inspiration from that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to ask this later, but you've kind of like spoken about it. What's it like being an independent woman in the music business?
Um, I think it's exciting because it's like everything is evolving and there's so much room for change and to kind of represent that, especially now, there's not like a set mold in that sense of what you have to do in order to be successful or what you have to look like. I think things have um really started to open up and actually see what's possible. Um, and the I'm not saying there's no limitations or whatever, because there are still there's still people and barriers that can sometimes go against you that still exist. But for me, I think, and for a lot of like the other women that I've spoken to that are in bands or front bands, like part of that is kind of what motivates us a little bit more, to kind of be like, actually, no, we're going to do this, we're going to smash it, and we're going to prove anyone who might doubt us wrong. Because there is a little there is a sometimes a saying of like, oh, we've got to be just a little bit better to get to the level that we need to be at. um and and it is true. um Things do, I mean, it's hard work pays off regardless, but I think being a woman in music, you have to work a little bit harder to get where you want to get to, because there are kind of some barriers in place of how things have been done, or some things haven't been done before in this way. And you're going to be pushing through things like that, and showing that things can be done in a different way, and people will be open to it, especially in like indie rock and rock in that genre. Like it's not as common. So but yeah, I like representing it, and all of the other female artists that I've spoken to, like, were all so supportive of each other, which is really nice, because before you could have bands where there's a bit of competition, or people kind of are watching each other, or there's jealousy or anything like that. And honestly, like, when I speak to other female artists and other female bands, we're honestly so supportive of each other. And I think it's because we know how hard it is. So
Yeah,
when I see them win something, it also feels like a win for me.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and we're kind of happy for each other, because it's like, yes, like, go and do that. So yeah, I think it's an exciting space, and it's something that's constantly evolving.
You mentioned before that you met your band in Manchester when you came back from America. How did that come about?
Um, that came about through university. Um, just meeting I met some guys. Well, really, it was like through my course. Like, I had to get a band together, and I was just looking for players. So I kind of just said, like, look, I'm looking for players. I actually like auditioned some people because I was feeling picky. um, and then I started out with an initial band. Um, there's actually like only, sorry, my phone binging. There's only actually one of them now that's left, who was in the initial band from like when I started it at uni. Like, other folks have like moved away and different things. Um, yeah, got like wives and girlfriends and all the rest of it. So they've moved away. But initially it started at uni, with drums, lead guitar, bass, and then I just played rhythm and did the vocals. Um, and then as the band's evolved, and like people have said, oh well, like I'm moving back home or whatever they're doing, we've then just through like networking of, okay, who else do we know who's a good player who would be interested? So now I kind of have a little collection of my band. So whatever gigs come up, like, I'd say 99% of the time, if I get a gig come up that's been offered, I can do the gig, because I'll have kind of multiple players in my band. So if one of my lead guitarists can't do it, another one can.
Yeah,
Um, who he's just as good. So works out well, and it's just been through some of them. I met through uni. Like, my drummer now was quite funny. Like, I was in uni. I think it was my second year, or was it my third? Might have been my third year actually. And I was in a lecture, and I just released my first single. And I was in a lecture at the back, and I wasn't really having the best day, if I'm honest. But I still brought myself into uni to sit in the lecture. I sat at the back, got my notepad out, and this guy comes up to me and he said, "Are you Lissy Taylor?" And I was literally, I'm not in a good mood. I was just like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And and because at the time I wasn't in a good space. So I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he was like, "Oh, I've just heard your new song, and I thought it was really good." I was like, "Oh, thanks." um, um, so yeah, I made friends with Chris just through him kind of listening to my music when I first released it at uni. And just kept in touch with him. So now he's my main drummer. Um, and then I've just got some, it's just networking, like who they know, to kind of have that standard of like musicians in the band, really.
yeah, yeah. Have you got a process for how you write songs, or is it different every time?
Um, I would say there's like an overarching process of everything I write is autobiographical, really. The only kind of outlier that isn't autobiographical is She Is a Stunner, which I took inspiration from the TV show Killing Eve. That's the only one where it's not really autobiographical. I just thought that's really cool. I'm gonna write a song about it. Um, but when I go to write a song, I kind of initially I just think, right, what am I feeling? What do I feel I need to express? Because it's and what do I feel I want to connect with people on, and what on that level. So initially it all comes down to the feeling. And then when I'm writing, I ask myself like, is this the most effective way to get what I'm saying across? Is this the most effective way to send like this message or portray this emotion? And it's kind of like I will always be evaluating like, is there a better way to do this? Do I feel happy with how this is portraying this emotion? So I guess I listen to it that way in all of my writing. There's not really a process of, oh, if I've wrote the melody or the lyrics or the chords for like I don't really have an order of how I do that. For me, it all kind of comes together because I'll change things as I go, for it all to kind of align.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd say for me, it's more so about like what am I saying, what kind of feeling and emotion am I drawing on, and am I doing that in the best way that I feel people will connect with and understand in the way that I want them to. Because I think music in general is just like opportunity for connection and being able to connect with people on a deeper level that you wouldn't ordinarily get opportunity to if if you were just going to like pass someone in the street or kind of talk to someone new. You're not going to have that emotional connection on that level. And I think being able to be like take your emotions and take some quite vulnerable thoughts sometimes and put them into like the music and channel it through art, and people can then take that into their own space and see what resonates with them. And I think that's like I think it's really powerful. That's why I do it. And it's nice when sometimes I'll get messages saying, oh, that I've listened to this song and it's really helped me, or it's really resonated with what I'm going through. And like that's nice. And sometimes, like that's you think, oh, I've done something good there, and it's nice.
yeah, yeah. Um, you said that most of your songs are autobiographical. Was that hard for you at first to release them into the world?
Um, yeah, I think so, really. I think in the beginning it feels quite daunting,
Yeah,
um, because it's so vulnerable. And I think as well in some ways when I'm looking back at my writing when I was first writing songs, some of the lyrics were so abstract. Um, it was almost, I think, as a way of a bit of protection in a way. Like I wasn't too specific about
yeah,
what I was going through. I would address it in the song, but in more of like a general way, more of a generalized way, or maybe something that was slightly vague that could be applied to a lot of situations. And in some way, that's good, because it's scope. But I think on reflection, I can see that, especially in the early days, I was protecting myself a little bit more. I wasn't quite as open and honest. Whereas now, I feel like I'd just be like, this.
yeah,
I feel like I'd be a bit more raw and honest and authentic and kind of just a bit more transparent in the writing of the I wouldn't hide behind it as much. I'd just be like, look, this is me, this is how I'm feeling. And I just think, like some songs, I'll always try and bring some sort of positive spin on it because I think that's important. Um, but I don't think I'm as scared about sharing anymore. And I think as well it's changed with how society's changed and how social media's changed. I think people are a lot more supportive of each other and understanding of each other with people that are, sharing their emotions or sharing their experiences or whatever. And I think that plays a part into it as well about, how is it going to be received? How is it going to be interpreted? I don't worry about that as much now. I'm
yeah,
just like, well, chuck it out, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, then you can't please everyone. I like it, so
yeah.
go with it.
staying true to yourself, really.
Yeah, because I think as well, with art, you want to create something that's true to you. And something I've been thinking about more lately, you want release something that's timeless, that's reflective of you at that time, not just, oh, I've wrote something because I think it's popular for the next couple months. It's like a trend or whatever. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
One that's, got some real weight behind it and is gonna last, and something that I'm gonna be like, yeah, actually, I still like that in a year's time, and stuff you're proud of putting out.
Yeah, yeah. What were it like for you recording at Abbey Road Studios?
That was amazing. That was absolutely crazy. It's like when I look back at the year, I think I would not have predicted that happening at all because as well it was so last minute that it all came about. Um, it was like within a month it was offered and then it was offered and then like recorded and everything within the whole month of May. So it was just a real whirlwind. And it felt really surreal being there, really. Because when you're inside as well, there's certain areas that you can't photograph, you can't video or anything like that. And because the photography on the walls is like protected. And then also like you can't video either in case there's like someone mega famous recording like some sort of secret album or something, and you
Really, yeah.
can't ruin the plans. And I thought I haven't even thought of that. But yeah, like I remember it was really weird thing, but I remember I went out the studio into the main building to just nip to the loo, and outside the women's loos there was a picture of Amy Winehouse, and then on the other side of the door there's a picture of Florence and the Machine.
Yeah.
Um, recording there. And for me, it was just a real moment of like, oh my gosh, like I'm here and I've grown up kind of like worshipping these women, and I've managed to get myself here, go into the loo next to where, probably where they've gone the loo. I was like, what's going on? I was like, so I had it was a little bit emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this is actually going on. And yeah, it was crazy. And like the facilities there are just like next level, and the equipment they have, like the band would be saying like, oh, like what kind of amps this or whatever, or what kind of boards this that we've got in the studio, and they'd be like, oh no, like that's the original one. It's not like a version, like that is it. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, definitely a whole different experience, like very cool. And managed to get the managed to get a bit of video and some photography done as well there where we could in the studio to document it. So yeah, it felt really special.
Yeah. Did you get a photo on the crossing?
Yeah, we did get a photo of the crossing, but honestly, so difficult.
Really? Why? Because
Oh,
the cars are
that,
there.
no, it's the cars because but it's also the amount of people that are also trying to do the same thing. It's insanely difficult because as well, you don't want to get loads of other people in the shot
Yeah.
either. But yeah, very, very busy crossing. Um, I've never seen a crossing that busy like all day. But we did manage to get a few shots doing the crossing. That was quite fun.
It's crazy, isn't it, how it's still like a big landmark place, that crossing.
Yeah,
Loads
yeah,
of
like
people go every day, don't they?
yeah, like we arrived there really early in the morning, and there was people there then doing it, and I think we must have been there at like 8 o'clock or something in the morning because we drove down. We got there
Yeah.
for about 8 o'clock, and there was people there doing it, and there wasn't like no one there. There was a queue.
Bang on.
It was crazy. And then we got through the gate and parked, and there's all these people then like looking like who's arriving, which was quite funny because I was like, oh, like sorry, sorry, like, I'm not like Harry Styles, sorry. Maybe one day.
Yeah, yeah. You've released sorry, you've released two new singles this year, Mind's
Mhm.
a Riot and Feel For Me, which is your
Yeah.
favourite from those two?
Which one's my favorite, did you say?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I like both of them for different reasons. Like Man's a Riot will always for me be a completely different song. And how I look back on it because that's what we recorded at Abbey Road. Um, Feel for Me to me felt like a big song before I was going to release it. And I think as well, because that was the first release of this year, it really set me up for the second single. Um, so Feel for Me is special for me because it got me my first Radio 1 play. And that for me was like, it was a big landmark thing for me because
Yeah.
I'd always kind of dreamt of being played on Radio 1, even when I was younger, like when we get in the car, listen to Radio 1. And I just think like, wow, I wish I could get on Radio 1. That'd be so cool. Um, and yeah, so I'd always kind of thought, oh, like that would be like a real big deal for me. So when I got that, it was really emotional for to actually get it. Um, so I think I'll always love that song and what it did for me. And then with that, I then managed to get Radio 1 again with Minds a Riot. Um, but I feel like I don't know. You could say, you know, would you have got would Minds a Riot have done as well if you didn't have Feel for Me kind of being the foot in the door, the kind of the setup for it. Um, so yeah, I like them both for really different reasons. Like Mine's Right, I had the whole Abbey Road experience, and Feel for Me, I got my first Radio 1, which just felt absolutely massive. I think I cried. I was like, oh my god. Um, and yeah, I ran to tell my dad. I was like, I'm on the radio. So yeah, that was really exciting.
When you get played on the radio, like for the first time, do they let you know you're going to be on so you can like listen?
Um, for the Radio 1, they do like an announcement of who's on the playlist for that show, and
Uh,
they usually do it like on the day of the show.
yeah, yeah.
They'll put it out on like social media and stuff of like, okay, like on today's show we've got blah blah blah. So yeah, that's how I found out. So I kind of found out in like real time of everyone else finding out who's on the show. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there isn't like there wasn't like a secret squirrel of like you're going to be on the show in the next week or whatever. It's like you might be, you might not. You'll you'll find out the same as everyone else, and it's kind of what happens.
Yeah, yeah. There always seems to be small music venues either closing down or close to closing down. How important are them kind of venues for you?
Well, I think it's super important because the smaller music venues, especially, they give a real space for emerging bands to grow and to develop and give them opportunity to play in front of people, find their sound, create, you know, a local following. And that's how so many bands start out, you know, it's pretty uncommon for bands to start out any other way. I mean, you know, you've got like TikTok and stuff now, but the local venues they give people that space to actually be like, okay, like we're gonna play here, and we're gonna see if we can fill it up first, and it's also like opportunity to practice and practice actually doing gigs and playing to people because it's completely different actually playing in front of people than just playing in a practice room or playing in your bedroom or whatever. And you can really tell a difference between bands who have really spent the time playing in front of an audience, knowing how to talk to an audience and having that confidence on stage compared to ones that haven't, that are newer to it. And also like people might not have the resources to be able to get onto the bigger stages immediately, you know. It's a lot of networking and stuff. So it allows people to grow and build up, and it creates opportunity. So it's massively important, especially for like lower class areas, which is probably where the ones that are struggling the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, super important.
You made your debut at Isle of Wight Festival this year. How did that go?
That was crazy. Really cool experience. Hoping to be back next year. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So I remember we got the tent like pretty full. I was watching the other bands. I was like, okay, like it's pretty full, but I got a little bit competitive, and I was like, I want it fuller. I want it more. So I literally, before our set, I ran outside. The tent was like a big rectangular tent that was open to everyone walking past.
Yeah.
So I literally ran out of the tent, just immediately outside of it, and I just started talking to people and saying, I'm playing in 5 minutes. Come and watch my band,
Yeah.
please. I'd literally just jump in front of people with a bit too much energy. Some people would be like, we're not sure, we've got to go, but we're like, okay, whatever. And then, but like, I'd say about 80% of people were like, you're playing now? And I'm saying, yeah. And they'd be like, oh, okay, then cool. And they were kind of bought in. And not many people do that. And I think it really kind of gets people on side before I'd even got like on stage.
Yeah.
Because they could see that like I cared and I wanted them there, and kind of made them a part of it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And um, yeah, I mean, you got a few people. You're always going to get a few people that are like, what's going on? But like most of them were like, no way, you're playing. Okay, cool. I'm there, and they'll come in. So yeah, we got the tent really full. We got it full, like filling out the back outside the tent. So that was great. That was really good. And I've done that ever since as well. Like just going out and telling people I'm doing this. Are you going to come? And it works. I think it's because people see that I care, and it's something that's a bit different. And then it's also like a story for them, you know, of
Yeah.
like, oh, there was like this band that I've not heard of, like the lead singer or whoever, like they just came to us and asked us to come watch, and then we did. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
memorable for them. So I did the same when I was playing in Sheffield a few months ago. We were playing a festival in a record store, and I was like, right, we're getting this place full. And I went out and I just got as many people as I could to just come and watch our set. And it was pretty cool because one of the couples that I approached, they were actually, it turned out that they were on a first date. And now the song Feel For Me is like their song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really cute. So then they've said, oh, like when we come your next gig, like can you dedicate the song to his girlfriend, which
Yeah.
is really cute. So it's just nice how like things become significant to people just through like doing something a bit extra and a bit different and creating opportunity for more people to kind of connect with what you're doing, you know. And yeah, like if they don't like it, they could have left, but you know, it's something. Yeah, most of the time they'll all hang about and be a part of it, and it's creates a good energy.
Yeah, good. With festivals, that's a good thing, in it? Like up and coming artists, you can discover them, can't you? So they're important as well, aren't
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's also like it's like a clout thing of who's on the festival, who's getting on it, and what level are they at. It can really level up some bands to say, I've played at this festival. It's like a badge of honor to
Yeah.
have got on some of the festival circuits for sure.
Have you played any other festivals like Isle of Wight?
So we did Isle of Wight. I've played at Why Not Festival
Oh
the
yeah,
year before. That was really cool. I met Jake Bugg there. That was fun. Um, what else have I played? I've played Neverworld Festival for quite a few years running while that was going up. I played that with like Tom Grennan. He's really cool. But I've done quite a few. I've done 110 Above, that's like down south. I've played Truck Fest.
yeah,
That's like years ago. Played quite a few of them now. Yeah. So it's going in the right direction for sure. We're just ticking them all off as we go.
yeah. Is there one that you really want to play that you haven't done yet?
Um, I haven't played Boardmasters yet. And it's quite out the way. It's all the way down in like Newquay. Haven't played Boardmasters yet, but I would really like to because I have been to Boardmasters. It was really fun. And I don't know. I think sometimes when I just attend a festival, I get a little bit like, why aren't I playing? What have I missed to get on this? But I think that's just kind of a mentality that you have if you're in a band and you go to
Yeah,
another if you go to another event, there's a little part of you that's like, what's going on? What do I need to do? Um, so yeah, I'd like to do Boardmasters. I'd like to do Transmit up in Glasgow. That's a really good festival. That's really fun. Yeah, there's like I like Get on the Great Escape. I haven't done that one yet.
yeah,
And obviously the big one, and everyone wants to get on Glastonbury.
yeah, yeah.
That's the big one. That's, like the mother of festivals. So that would be very cool.
Yeah, yeah. What do you prefer, the songwriting process of recording your songs or actually playing them live?
Um, I'd say I love the songwriting. I love the expression in it and kind of the craft of it. I love that. And then with that, I kind of see the vision of how it's going to be recorded. But I'd say my two kind of favorites, I'd say the actual songwriting, the creating the song, and then playing it live because I see the connection with the people there, and I
Yeah,
get to talk, and I get to talk to the people who've come, and and kind of understand them and get to know them,
yeah,
uh, and that's and meet new people through it, and that's what I like. That's what I like doing. Like the recording's really fun. The recording is really fun. But I feel like more comes out of it with who you meet along the way, and
yeah.
and the song at the center of it. The song is the source. So I think that's the most important thing, the music itself.
Is it good to see their reaction as well to songs, and especially songs that you haven't brought out yet?
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. Like I always put a few songs in the set that like aren't released yet as well. It kind of keeps things exciting, helps me kind of gauge, what are people's reactions to it, and people come to the shows as well more because they're like, okay, we know we're going to hear something different that we haven't heard yet, that it's not on Spotify or Apple or wherever they're streaming.
Yeah, yeah. So my last question, we've mentioned that you're supporting lottery winners and Seagirls this month. What else have you got lined up for the future?
So we have applied for like as many festivals as we possibly can at this point. For next year, I've got a bunch of songs that are already recorded and good to go as well, and then I'm just writing more as well on top of it to try and really get the best kind of line up and plan for next year.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, everything's kind of going into next year after that at the moment, unless we get like any more like gigs kind of get confirmed last minute for like end of November, December. We're kind of just waiting to get a few more gigs confirmed yet. And then really my head's going to be like in the game for 2024. What is the plan of action? Because like I do it all myself. So
Oh dear, yeah.
yeah, I don't have any team or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely independent. Like I'm not with a label, I'm not with a manager. I just do it all myself. So I'm just gonna be like planning out, right, what is the plan of action for next year? What have we learned from this year? What's the best way to do things? And see what we can get. I'm hoping for a big summer.
Yeah.
I feel like summer is kind of peak season for music, you know. So yeah, gonna be trying my best for everyone to keep the momentum up, keep the
Yeah.
tunes.
Good, good. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate that, and I enjoyed the interview.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having us on. It's been good.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.